Hello everyone. The title of today's talk is How to Observe Thought. And so if we were to dive into the abstracts of what makes man a presence here, you will begin to see it has to do with definition and how you're looking at definition. Simply said, don't go further into this. Don't try to create stories. We don't want to use rationality immediately. We want to hold our rationality unless we really need to use it, And so we're here to directly experience. So we just want to observe ideas and think of that moment where you were watching a movie, and so it didn't matter logically what happened in the movie, but you were observing it through an existential comfort. So now we must perceive, and so as we perceive, we begin to see that how you can find the trust in this life is to see what is holding your ideology into place. And so you must question your world to see that there are many times that you are the answer. And so when man is changing, when man dies, when man is born, when many things happen, why is this specific range of phenomena higher than anything else? Why are we just saying this box of phenomena is it? How about the intelligence that not just moves mountains, but moves the world? Regardless of how it is said and done, find yourself through all that you are. Some are keen to explore hidden realms, but they must recognize there is nothing hiding from you. You must find an actuality. You must find a platform where you can perceive and know that perception is your directest experience. And so this is not the same kind of perception that you find when one looks at a painting in a museum. It is the perception one finds when they realize the painter has not even finished, and it's all being drawn, and every new moment is a new opening. For man never stood under anything other than his understanding. Think of it this way, that you are a moment of intelligence, and as you're this moment of intelligence, there are seeds planted, and these seeds sprout at times. So what that means is in your moment of being, and I believe I got this suggestion from the Yoga Patanjali Sutras, which I recommend you should explore. It was as if every moment there are seeds planted from before sprouting, and at the same time you're planting new seeds. And so it's kind of suggesting what many people consider as karma, but in a sense how the movement of this world is being interpreted. The only way you can know it's karma is because you have an observance beyond the limitation, because you know there is something beyond the limitation. Do you see? This existential knowing that you have, this intuition you have, is by far the most important phenomena that is happening in your life. This sense of knowing that you are with your world and as your world is crucial for our youth. To become and remember their agelessness. Who is your leader here? Is it a voice? Is a voice your leader? Is a voice your guide? Or is it that which is perceiving all of it now? That which is perceiving it all here? For within the silence of being, all that you know is here where you can know it. exploration for mankind is now taking a multidimensional turn, and it requires to include self-inquiry. Because if you are in a position in which you feel you are a slave to a system, and not that the system is making you a slave, you are simply there to be there. Do you see, in that position? You need to begin to see that you need to question your identity. You need to question your personality. Because nobody can treat you better than the way you know how to treat yourself. There are some things you have seen that no one has seen, and no one can help you. And so the greatest thing that a human being can be is the compassion and love of being a mirror of existence for your fellow man, for your fellow being, to all beings. We are all planted in the soil of existential compassion. Knowledge is not our flaw. Power is not our obstruction. Our only limitation is our consideration of a limitation. And so ask yourself, my dear boy, who are you when there is nobody else and nothing else here? And so the presence of emptiness becomes the eyes of another world. It is very simple, guys. Pretty much, you as a person in society, as an individual, are working with society, so you have to work with the ideas that the media and society suggest, because you're around it, and others are acknowledging it, and so human beings understand that they're here to communicate, and so they are attracted to their similarity, and so and human beings will be social, you know. But it is there's a phenomena that takes it beyond what man could think. Do you see? And when that phenomena comes, that means you thought you were alone. You thought you were alone. You thought you were alone. But you know that when existence is by your side, you never can be. Your greatest companion is your moment of existence. Never forget it. Never forget this. There is no greater guru, no greater teacher than your moment of being and your intention and attention to be aligned like planets to observe the light in your eyes. Thought will always have an unknown aspect, and that is why man grows beyond it. But one must understand that the human being is moving to a new era where there needs to be new renaissances developed. There needs to be space. How much space do we have for new co-creations of great and efficient quality? How much space do we have to allow technologies and the greatness of man to bloom, not his worst acts? The problem with man's criminal behavior was, there was two angles. There was one where he was hurting his world, and two, he was hurting himself. We are a new phenomena, and so you don't need too much judgment, guys. Don't take it so hard. It's pretty. Life doesn't have to be that serious because there's a lot of unknown factors, And so to risk in this unknown world is a very great act, And you will begin to see when you take a risk, that means you begin trusting the flow of life more than the communication of what life is at that moment. So what that means is, if you know your name is not Bob, and someone comes in a park and says, "Hey man, are you Bob?" You pretty much say, "No man, I'm not Bob." you know. But unfortunately, the way human consciousness is developing now, some people are forgetting that they're not bad. And it's important, because the tree stands with its roots firmly grounded. The more you become rooted to a very compassionate method and path, you will see that your existential allowance to be creative, in other words, if someone gave you a brush with infinite color, you know, with infinite ability to create worlds, you will begin to see that a man who is in the dynamic of being given infinity will share it with he who does not have it. So what that means is, regardless of how much our symbols and our ideas and our words are trying to communicate truth, our experience is one beyond language, for simply it is rooted and hidden just like soil beyond space and time. So when you look at a tree, when you can't see the soil, visualize the roots in that soil beyond space and time, and all the trees and everything, and the fruit that's standing. Let's say there's a cherry, and instead of a cherry, it has turned into the world. It has turned to the planet we walk on every day. We are gifted with individual consciousness, but it does not mean we are individually conscious beings. What that means is individuality is really based on the change of your environment, and that includes your subtler planes, even the change of the environment of your thought, and also the change of what you want to do. See, it's as if your moment of being is a vehicle. You have free will, and you free-willingly can go anywhere you choose to, including with thought as well. What? You must begin to see that there's a reason this imagery is here. There is a reason you have been made in such a manner. And so it's as if the blueprint they wanted to study is the shape that you exist in. If you look to others for them to tell you how you look, no man has the words to explain the beauty in man's eyes, because it never ends. For the last word of the poet to explain the most beautiful image was so intense that he became that reality. It's as if for a moment life had stopped and all beginnings were seen. And at that moment, guys, it was very clear to me that I have been thinking that I am a person that is good and bad, when this world is just giving natural phenomena which we are interpreting value from. We are extracting meaning. I am getting offended by what you say because it's my choice. Do you see? And it's wrong in a sense. Get rid of this offense. And so if there is a problem with how someone communicates to you, you must realize the problem is within the answer. Do you see? So when the problem realizes that there was no problem, it sees the answer it wants. You think this existence gives you such an allowance to create so much suffering for yourself, but it won't give an allowance for you to create the greatest version of yourself? What is this? We are allowing suffering, but we're not allowing peace. This is ridiculous. No, it's all about how we're acknowledging the images. And so we need to look at our life very quickly, instantly, and with an intuitive and innate knowing that, you know how we're certain of what we say? Because we are alive and we exist and we have a unique origination in where our existential attention can create communication. Every human being right now is a valve of knowledge of how human living is being done. Your fellow man is not someone to be hurt, to be pushed aside, for you to be burdened by. Your fellow man is someone to learn. So what that means is that moment where you're camping with your friends and let's say a deer just comes and it's just like that deer makes eye contact with everybody, you know? You kind of begin to see, it's like mankind must also be seen with a very unique and very, I don't want to say mysterious, but very beautifully, with an unknown glow, let's say. So what that means is when you look at a human being, don't consider them who they are or what you think they are or whatever imagery or association you have or reference you want to give. See them as a moment of existence that can talk to you. It's just phenomenal. And of course, guys, we need to begin creating manners where, whether we want to improve our educational system or not with this idea, but to begin making children at a younger age think as if what they would do if they were the leader of humanity. Do you know? Because kids need to confront it. And it would also be good for every child to go on some stage at a young age, in some classroom or whatever, some teacher can take this idea and utilize it, that the child is put in front of the class and the whole class makes fun of that child. So the teacher says, you need to stand here and you need to sit on a chair. So they place, let's say, one of the kids in front of the room, and all the kids and the teacher begin all, let's say, in one moment begin being very rude and saying everything mean to her, and she's there, she knows what's going on, let's say the person, whoever's there, hopefully my daughter in the future might have this number something, I don't know. Anyways, to continue, the novelty of the search is beyond evaluation. And so know yourself as not that person who is thinking, not that thing. See yourself as that unknown manner, because we got to be authentic. We don't know. What do we know? We know that we don't know, right? So we got to be observant and we got to see really what we don't know. And as you observe that which you don't know, as you confront your fears, as you go and turn on the lights where you thought there never was a possibility for light in that room, you begin to see you were the permission slip you were waiting for, and you had never slept. Ideology can carry you so far until that inspiration within your eyes carries the self. You carry yourself to your rooted and grounded existential awareness. Much blessings and namaste.